tell us why people should vote for your party. Can I start with you, Jim Allister? Why should people vote TUV?
Well, amongst the unionist community, with the DUP mired in a variety of scandals, and it was a very boring debate earlier, and lamentably dull, apart from two occasions. First of all, when Mr. Robinson was discomforted about the £5 land deal and had no adequate answers to give. And that, of course, is a big doorstep point, which raises the issue about the extent to which the DUP is mired in scandals. On the other hand, you have the Ulster Unionists trapped in a hopeless marriage with the Tories. And that is causing people to say, well, the TUV is the only realistic, viable alternative, because we are untainted by the scandal and sleaze of the parliamentary expenses, and we're untainted by the failure of the last 3 years at Stormont, where government has been malfunctioning, utterly failing to deliver, and people see within what TUV has to offer the way forward. We've tried mandatory coalition. It has failed. We need the building blocks of being able to vote a party out of government. Then we need the building block of being able to have an opposition, and therefore the way to shared government, and we want to move to durable shared government. The way to shared government is through the path of voluntary coalition. You have an election, the parties that can agree what to do about housing, about education, about health, who can get the majority in the Assembly, govern. Those who can't are in the opposition, and that is so elementary, so democratic, that the appeal that we make on that basis is resonating with the people in the doors when they look at the abject failure in Stormont and look at the other parties mired in the difficulties that they're mired in.
Jim Allister, if you got into Parliament and you got into a hung Parliament, Conservative, Labour, which one would you support?
Well, I would battle for the best interests of Northern Ireland, and there'd be many things on my shopping list. And right at the top of my shopping list, and it would be an invitation at the challenge I would issue to every other Unionist MP elected to Westminster, would be to insist that the monstrous change that was made in the St Andrews Bill, whereby IRA Sinn Féin can now become the First Minister, that should be repealed. That might embarrass the DUP because they were in connivance in bringing about that change, because they thought it would enable them to duress unionists to vote DUP with the bogeyman of Sinn Féin as First Minister. But it was a monstrous change that needs to be reversed, and I would put that at the top of my shopping list with government, and I would trust that every Unionist MP would join in saying the first thing we need constitutionally is the removal of that clause from the St Andrews legislation of 2006 that allows Sinn Féin to become First Minister, and then we would look at many financial issues.
You know that's not going to happen.
Well, why should that not happen? Why should we have this insult that the majority community in Northern Ireland can have put upon them an IRA Sinn Féin First Minister? The reason it exists is because the DUP allowed it to exist, wanted it to happen, never spoke against it in Parliament, never tabled a single amendment against it, and allowed it to go through. But that is something now that very much on the doors people are angry about, and of course they're angry with those that allowed it to happen, the DUP, but they look to all unionists to try and change it, and that would be an opportunity.
You seem to be against everything that has happened. You're against power sharing with Sinn Féin, you're against the devolution of policing.
I'm utterly in favour of workable shared government. I'm utterly opposed to terrorists in government and not being able to vote a party out of government. Oh, aren't they? Well, I think we saw the performance tonight of Mr. Adams with all of his obfuscation and pretense that he knew nothing about the IRA. And of course, Peter Robinson, being in bed with IRA Sinn Féin, sat mute without a word of challenge to him. But I am in favour of moving to durable devolution based upon voluntary coalition. Those that can put together the platform govern, those that can't are in opposition.
Got that message. Jim, as an MP, what would you be asking the government to do to deal with jobs and cuts in Northern Ireland?
We need a low tax economy to generate growth. We need a low tax economy for income tax, for corporation tax, right across the UK, to particularly encourage small, medium-sized business. And out of that growth of the private sector, we will get into growth in our economy.
What you just said surely means that you'd have to cut services.
No, I believe if we can grow our economy, then we increase the tax take, and thereby we preserve our services. By making it a low tax economy where there is incentives for people to work, where there are incentives for businesses to profit, where there are incentives for business to grow. And by growing business, we grow prosperity.